Welcome to Wraparound the World, where we explore the incredible journey of Wraparound from its origins to its global impact. Join us as we delve into personal and community stories, meeting powerful individuals, families, and communities who have been transformed by this powerful approach.
In today's show, we welcome Jessica Miles from the Brevard Behavioral Health Expansion System of Care Grant at the National Center.
She joins us today after nearly 20 years as a Wraparound champion, bringing impact to communities around Brevard County. Well, we've talked about you a couple times, and including with one of our implementation sites in particular, they're like, oh, the lady that's out helping build community. And so maybe we segue a little bit away from your origin story to kind of like some more modern day stuff. And Tracy's always talked about how, wraparound in shop, right? And this is my language of interpretation, right? Versus wraparound done with community. Versus like in-house case management, outpatient traditional, versus wraparound done with community and building like the community supports through child abuse prevention networks, community philanthropy, AA, NA, reaching out to that community. So maybe you want to talk to us a little bit about kind of like that shift in some of your work, and then and I really want to highlight that we work with a lot of communities across the country that are doing wraparound, but without, right? It's like healers like you and I that really want to do the great work,
right?
That go out and do the work and then kind of run into systems, can only go so far. Hearts are great, but without that community, we're missing that key piece. So maybe you can talk to us a little bit about kind of like that change in your path, and then what some of the benefits were.
Yeah. So I think 6 years now. I got tasked with, voluntold, I will say it that way, the Child Abuse Prevention Task Force at Brevard. And so I was like, I don't like to speak in public, again, it's so funny. Along the journey, I've learned like, oh, I can't speak in public, like you learn things about yourself. And so, just working with that group, I was just like a participant. I, kind of hands off. I didn't know what was really happening. And then, it was like, here you go. And then I was like, oh, what do I do with all of this? But what I found was it was so rich with resources. People just didn't know what to do with it. They were like, okay, we're all getting together and we're talking. But okay, what is our purpose? So let's start to build this community. And maybe it was like, 20 people would participate. They'd come, we'd physically come in the office, and then COVID changed the world.
What were some of the things you were doing back then?
Yeah, so back then, we were doing, so it was, I think Heather, we would do meetings and we'd talk about the initiative. It was typically our 5-year plan. The state puts together a 5-year plan about child abuse prevention, making sure we have initiatives that support safe sleep. Of course, any type of abuse, abandonment, neglect type of practices, initiatives. And yeah, like, to be honest, I wasn't, and pinwheel planting around the month of April, I wasn't really as plugged in as I became when I, started leading it. And then it, I was like, well, we have all these community providers and people have needs out there. Like, how do we connect these people? And we started using it as a network, and trying to get, we had a committee specifically that just focused on getting providers to buy in, because it was huge. The schools are trying to prevent abuse. Everybody has initiatives that they have to meet, but nobody's talking to me.
The walls are up.
Everyone, this is what we're doing, and we're siloed, and we're only going to do these 5 things. Okay, let's expand that. What can you do? And you really have to pull on individual heartstrings within these organizations to get people to come in and see that,
or have a genuine relationship. It's like, I can only get to heartstrings is if you care about me like I care about you.
Right.
Very well said.
Yeah, and it's like just bringing those people together. Somebody has to be carrying in this huge metropolis of this agency. Somebody. So it's really I was physically going in, shaking hands. Hey, I'm Jessica, from Brevard Cares, or with the Child Abuse Prevention Task Force. And, this is kind of what we're trying to do. And you got to shake hands. You got to get in there. And even if it's the receptionist that you see over and over and over again, here's some flyer, you just become that person that, yeah, it's annoying, whatever, who cares? Your bigger purpose is to expand this network so that if I have a need with a family or somebody has a need, they can shoot an email and within minutes you'll just see responses on what this family, how we can help this family. Hey, I touch that family too. Maybe we can do this over here.
There it
And you
is.
just see the brainstorming. And every month I make sure we highlight a new provider or a provider that's been with us,
Mm.
and we're continuously keeping that information in front of people so that they know, like, oh, I just ran into this situation, can you help me, or who to call, or um so yeah, it just became this um big thing that I didn't think would happen, but I love it because it's such a great network and such amazing people that are willing to just work together to really, I mean, we all live in this community.
Yeah.
This is the
Right.
thing. These are the kids that you see riding by your house or
Right.
whatever. You have to have an investment in our future, which is our children. I don't, you know, that's kind of what I say. Like, hey, we live here. We want to make sure our children grow up healthy and happy. And what are the ways that we can do that? And of course, we celebrate our children during April. We have a list of events that we do with the Child Abuse Prevention Task Force. But it's so about community. It's not about Brevard Cares. It's not a Brevard Cares thing. It is a community thing. I volunteer to do this, outside of my job. These
Mm-hmm.
people volunteer to help outside of what they're doing. And we're hoping we make a difference. We hope to grow. Um, and yeah, that's what
Yeah,
you can
that's
do.
great. We don't have time for you to put a whole workshop on it in the
No,
recording,
no.
but if you were to like one or two bullet points, some of the like construction pieces you have to have or materials in order to build a community that works together using their resources from different silos. I heard you say relationships is like the centerpiece.
Yeah.
What would you add? Maybe would you add anything to that? I heard you say getting together
Mhm.
in space. Like you said, COVID was an
Yeah.
but we met together
still-
also.
Yeah.
Is there one more we might add?
Um, Honestly, keeping it convenient in terms of we've switched this virtual world. And so people want to just do stuff from their desk. That's a great way to link in virtually. This is kind of where we're headed anyway. But if you can't meet us in person, there are things that you can do virtually. I think it's just the convenience of it. We try to make it as convenient as possible. You participate the way you can. I think relationships is it though.
That's it. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like
Yeah, the relationships I think are huge.
it's
Yeah.
huge. Like you're not gonna yeah.
That I think was
Mm-hmm.
I think it was the catalyst of continuing this journey of
Mm-hmm.
the task force. I think what was it, 25th year or 26th
Wow.
Yeah.
year or
Mm-hmm.
something. Yeah, and when we shifted it to cares years ago, we really wanted to take a kind of real ownership role of it, right? Kind of under the lead agency for the county, and so I think that was really it was a and under leadership of Patricia, they're doing that, and I'm so grateful that we did do that because it did make a huge difference. So I'm definitely glad that, but I think that's the key to that, like you're saying, definitely is relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and that has been, and I'm glad that it kind of through COVID and kind of back, but I think some of the other keys, Jess, agreed to are having some of the key things that you're doing annually too. I think that helps.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like calendar. Regular, we meet this
Yeah.
date.
Yep.
We do this
Those are the
thing on this
things
date.
We
Yeah.
do this
that
in
have
April.
helped.
We do
Yeah,
these
those are
pinwheel
the big things
plantings.
that have kind of helped solidify and keep, because those are the things people will kind of remember even if they don't do all the times. Maybe that I think
Yeah.
would be inclusive of those things. And then I think also getting people kind of reinvigorating that thing, because some people kind of come and go.
Yeah.
They come and go, but keeping others kind of motivated to stay, which is kind of getting the new blood and keeping it interesting and fresh. And I'm super excited to see that people are still kind of doing that And yeah, and I'm so excited that people use the resources, but it's those relationships.
Yeah.
Because those resources are critical for success for families as they navigate what you know.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think the future of that looks like? You know, and where I'm going to give you a little more preface
Mm-hmm.
in that, like, we know that like systems with some with good intentions, some still struggling, aren't always the full medicine, full recipe of what families need. And we know that you cannot do it without community, family, tribe, protectors, advocates outside of the formal constructs. So, like, but we know this is not easy. It's
Mm-hmm.
not easy to get everybody in the same room and work
Mm-hmm.
together. You know, and so what do you think kind of like the future of that collaboration, integration
Mm-hmm.
looks like as we continue to kind of bring down, hopefully, some of the walls that are holding us apart? And very directly, I'll say, you know, champion for families.
Mm-hmm.
You know, love
Yeah.
safe children and
Mm-hmm.
permanency. That's great. Love it. Love it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like protection of family and tribe and culture and community, and how we get both to kind of like line up and work together. So, what do you think the future kind of looks like? And maybe some thoughts, reflections on that, Tracy. Fix your face. No, I'm just.
In a perfect world, you know, I I want the walls to be gone. You know, I feel like we have a lot of walls and red tape and we have to do things a certain way. So ultimately what I would love to see is a free thinking space where families can come, almost, yes, a resource line, but an actual resource line. Um where families can actually get concrete help. It's one thing I here I need this and here's this number.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck,
Mm-hmm.
Godspeed, you know.
Right.
No, I want like someone to get concrete help, and that's why one of the things about Brevard Cares, we always answer the phone, you know, like was huge for me because when I would call as a professional and the pushback I would get, you know. And so I don't want pushback. In a perfect world, I just, can you help? Yes, I can. Can
Mm-hmm.
you help in this way? If the family doesn't look the way you look and doesn't
Right.
act the way you act, can you still, there's still children there.
Mm.
And I don't think people think about that. They look at behavior and they're like, well, I'm not going to help them because they're mean to me, you know, or they curse me out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How
Mm.
many people have cursed out? You know, like I was like, I've gotten cursed out so many times. At the end of the day, there's children there.
Mm.
That person's scared. That's why they're cursing you out. They're
Right.
terrified.
Right.
They don't know what they're gonna do.
Right.
And so it's like, can we push past? That's
Yeah.
a cultural thing, right? You know,
Yeah.
like your culture of someone disrespected you or whatever, and help this family.
Mm.
And that's what makes our area, our this whole thing richer, is if we just move past
Mm-hmm.
ourselves
Yeah, ourselves.
and, you know,
Wow.
just help and don't look at the behavior.
Preach.
Yeah.
Come on. Let you.
You
Wow.
know, like families are, you know, they're just scared. That's all it is. That's all you're hearing in their voice.
Yeah.
And yeah, I used to get caught up like that too, you know, like they just
Uh-huh.
that she, but at the end of the day, what was she really saying? I'm terrified I don't have any food.
Yeah.
I don't have any this, any that. And I remember you going to a home and just instinctually you knew something was off, and it was that they didn't have any food in their cupboards. And it was like, okay, let's stop this meeting. There's a need here.
Mm-hmm.
People, if people can just see beyond themselves. Oh, sorry.
You good?
If people can see beyond themselves, and just see that there's a need there, every one of us have that responsibility. I think it's
Will you say that again? Will you say, just take a deep breath and say that again.
beyond yourself and your own issues. And if you start to reach out and help others, your whole situation will turn around. You'll look at it totally differently. It's not the end of the world because somebody's world is literally ending.
Yeah.
And if you can help someone and impart some sort of hope, this is where the hope part.
Coming back to it, I think we got a title of the podcast episode.
We're imparting some sort of hope. Like, we got this.
Yeah, yeah,
And despite all the crazy behavior you may see,
yeah.
at the end of the day, that's a scared parent that wants to take care of their child.
Sure. Or what's an impacted parent?
Yeah, impacted.
Right.
Yes.
Right? By
Yeah.
a system that
Mhm.
they didn't maybe even choose, right? They
Mhm.
were looking for help and got maybe something else. So,
Mhm.
and I really appreciate this idea of holding hope, and now we're kind of coming back around to it, because it's also holding hope that like our systems and agencies and people have contributions,
Mhm.
and it's figuring out how we can tailor those in a way that do more helping and hoping than harming. And with relationship, it's easy to be like, oh, now I see why we don't keep pushing that particular service on this person,
Mhm.
because we understand now what's going on through relationship. Very, very, very well said. What have we not talked about that we wanted to talk to Jessica about today?
One last thing I think I want to definitely shift into is this new role that you're taking on, right? Is uh, project director.
Project BBHE, Brevard Behavioral Health Expansion, um, project director.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's a lot, but I can't believe it, you know. Um,
So do you want to maybe share a little bit about what your goals are for the project and yeah, so just maybe tell us a little about that and what that'll entail.
so it's a system of care grant that we were awarded for 4 years um, to provide services and supports to families with neurodivergence. I don't know why I keep messing that word up.
It's a lot. It's a whole lot in that
You
word.
know, it's like it doesn't come
Mhm,
across my,
mhm.
but um, ages, I believe, I may get the ages wrong, but 3 to 21. We're really excited to work with this population because I feel like we've been struggling with identifying services and support. So, of course, in my role is to expand our abilities to serve this population and serve them with intention and purpose. Because it's one thing a care coordinator goes out there and then they what do you do? You know, I don't want to see that. So my goal is hopefully that we can um not hopefully. My goal is to ensure that we can serve this population with intention and with services and supports that are truly going to be something that they can access. That's another thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Access is big,
Mhm.
you know. It's one thing if your insurance covers it, but what if you don't have insurance or you're underinsured? You know, so we want to make sure that children in Brevard County and young adults have access to services with this diagnosis, and we're excited
Yeah.
to be awarded this. And again, I want this to last longer than the 4 years.
Right.
That is
Right.
always my goal. So working on alternative funding sources so that this we can expand the team. We can again expand services and supports, and hopefully have this long term.
Yeah.
So
And what I really appreciate is the intentionality around that because, as we continue to, kind of figure out and look at more and more, this demographic and our young adults who may look at or be misdiagnosed or other things, really getting the right, kind of services and support for them so that they can live a, kind of really successful, life and be okay in our community, right? In the local
in our
community, right? So that is really exciting. And I'm, with the success of the previous grant and what that looked like, I am really continue to be excited about what this is going to do for um, the youth and young adults here. So thank you for that. With the success that you've had so far in your career, I'm only looking for that to continue. So congratulations, and we will certainly do everything that we can to support you in that endeavor. So thanks,
Yeah.
Jess, and good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
I think one more last thing I wanted is like, I don't know, maybe it doesn't have a comment, but like youth and parent alumni and using them as co-partners and construction, building, and ownership. Would you talk to me about like kind of like how that also fit into that piece? And then maybe if you want to kind of begin to wrap us up with kind of like your big takeaway, whatever you wanted to leave on the show.
Um, oh, that was a good point with youth, alumni, youth and parent alumni, because at Brevard Cares, we've been able to see several of our families become employees, family advocates. They've sat on our board, continue to sit on our board and support us to this day. Like and so I think it's huge. It's very important, and it's for them. They've come full circle, and they were going through a rough time. Now they can support a program that helped them in whatever way they wish. And I think
that's wonderful.
in whatever way they wish. If it's like, hey, I do Easter baskets for you guys for other families, or they can be totally hands-on. I want to be a board member. I want to be employed.
Let's go.
Let's go. Like whatever you want to do. It's brilliant to me. Like what better person than someone who went through this program, to be a support to others. We have support groups. We used to have events, which I want to get back to that, like having events where we engage, father, son pool tournament or whatever it is, there are small things you can do and there are huge things you can do. But really they felt the need to give back because they felt, we helped or assisted.
Reciprocity.
Yeah. And what can I do now? I'm in a better place. I can help. Yeah, wow. Even if they're not. Yeah. Can I just make dinner for a family? I had one of our alumni. I just want to make a dinner. That's it. Is that possible? Yes.
Please.
We do have a family.
You come to my house.
Right. Come to my house. So I love parent and youth alumni and having youth come back and be a youth advocate. Yeah. Come on. They've seen all of this stuff, and it's fresh in their mind. And they're like, look, I know what it took for, me to get back to my goals. I can help other youth and become a mentor or whatever, whatever, and in whatever way they can.
Wonderful.
That's what
I've always appreciated that about the culture that we built there. Right from our founding CEO to many of the executive directors and a lot of leadership, and it just continues to be. And it really is. It's always been amazing. So I definitely love that, and it's just part of what I think needs to be part of many of the programs is that our impacted youth and parents come because they feel that comfort and appreciation and the reciprocity, and not, well, in my experience, not just them, but many times parts of their family, like their parents or the kids, like would come and certainly a part of some of the holidays too, right? So coming big of the holiday celebrations, so they're really one of my favorite memories is one time, and I'll just say it because I know we're taping this at a different time that it'll air, but was a time that I share that I played Santa Claus.
Say sorry, but
I played Santa Claus.
Okay, I made sure I got it.
Yeah,
that's fine.
I played Santa Claus one time, and I love that.
You got to be one of Santa's elf helpers.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'll say.
That's what you get to say.
Yeah, and it was great. I loved it. So we had an amazing time.
Yes,
continue to do.
That's wonderful.
Yeah,
is that why you're going to hang out for this show today?
Yes, that's fine.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to cut some of this out, Kira.
I totally plan on doing a silver beer.
Cut some of this out
in the next couple days. Yeah. No, this is the stuff that'll go on the real show.
Okay.
No, this is it. This is genuine. In fact, this is the conversation we want to have the whole time. Okay? Make sure we're recording. So now that we're here, now I'm banging on the table. yeah, that's really it. If there's anything you want to share to embarrass Tracy or I, you can always do that too.
Right, can I?
Yeah,
Oh
go
my
right
gosh.
ahead. Go right ahead.
This was like, I feel like a stress reliever for Tracy and I. Like when things would get like really intense, this was at North Drive,
Hmm.
he would put on
Is
certain
Tracy blushing?
songs
Uh-huh.
in
Oh,
his
yeah.
office,
Uh-huh.
and then
Uh-huh.
him and I would just start dancing.
Yeah, that's right.
We'd
That's
shut the
right.
door,
Hmm.
but then the blinds
I'm
were
gonna act like
open.
I have no idea about this activity.
The blinds were open, so I was like, people could technically see us from the parking lot. And then we would just be jamming out. But for me, it was like such a stressful, you're hearing a lot.
Yes.
I'm not
Yes.
pretending that this was a light job by any
No
means.
Yeah.
way.
But, Tracy made it fun and like, okay, let's just get rid of all of this stress.
Yeah.
Like, how can we do it? And we'd hear a song, like it was specific songs like we love. And then we would just start jamming out to it. And then we just walk back outside like nothing.
Nothing. You didn't see nothing.
You didn't hear anything. No, we were just fine in there. We were having supervision, whatever. But it was so much fun. Again, I credit to Tracy. It was so much fun working underneath him because, again, he was different from every supervisor I've ever had. And I think I attribute
Say that
it
again.
to Wraparound and like the creativity. Like he knew I was like a square and everything had to be perfect and all of that stuff. But he was like, you can let your hair down sometimes.
I wouldn't. I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't intimately know you, Jasmine.
Yeah.
Like, I would have never known that. I'm like,
Oh, I was like,
oh,
because I always wanted to do a good job, but in my mind, perfectionism was a good job. Like
sure,
doing everything perfect
sure,
was a good job.
control, yeah,
Control, but Wraparound, you don't have any control.
yeah, let it go.
I couldn't do any of that stuff. And so he found a way to connect with me, again, probably doing Wraparound with me, to connect with me to let go. Like just be Jessica, be the kid that
Yeah.
you never
Bring
were.
out your culture,
Right,
who
like
you-
everything that comes,
Wonderful.
with it. And I appreciate that so much because, now I can pass the same thing on. I'm not like I don't expect everyone to be like me.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's what made our team so rich. Everyone was from different backgrounds, different culture. I mean, spoke different languages.
Beautiful.
I loved it. I loved it. I loved it.
Beautiful.
It was an amazing, eclectic team.
Right.
Do you guys got a picture somewhere?
I think
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Absolutely,
We should. Yeah, we're gonna eventually do his strengths, needs, culture discovery, and
Oh.
whole story bio background. And I think unfortunately we do the same with me, so I want those pictures.
Yeah.
And when we get them, we'll throw them on a loop, Kira.
Mhm.
Wow, what a time we spent together talking.
Mhm.
That was probably my favorite part so far. Maybe we'll have to do some music when we get the cameras off and get a little bit in. Because the cost of
camera will be
carrying are
on.
real, right? The cost of
Yeah.
carrying are real. You got to take care of yourself. So we got a couple things. One, if you were to give us a tagline for the show, closing out, you said you've listened to a little bit of the show, and
Mhm.
what might that be? And then just kind of your closing words. And Tracy, I'll let you kind of close out if you want to say anything first, and then we'll throw you the mic.
Well, again, I've known Jessica for quite some time, and I'm just appreciative of her heart and her spirit of caring and giving. And I just feel like we as a community are just blessed to have her and know her, and can wait to just continue to see the star that shines, that who she is. So we see you and appreciate you, and thank you so much, Jess.
Thank you both. Wow. I didn't expect that. So,
It usually
yeah.
gets you.
I really appreciate it. Just always remember to see people. I think that's the biggest thing. Your neighbor, the kid skateboarding by your house. Pay attention. People need you. You can do small things and you can make a difference. And I've been honored to have this opportunity to meet the hundreds of families I've met and work with amazing people. And never take that for granted, never take moments for granted. That family that's sitting in front of you, they're there for a reason. And do right by them.
Love it. Is there any Anybody want to shout out, say thanks? You know, the whole story here, programs. Where can we find more about you? Buy the book. We got a book yet?
No,
Not yet. Okay. All right. It's coming with TED Talk. Oh, it's on its way, right?
it's on its way.
Okay.
You know, like that's
So if
coming.
people wanted to connect, where could they maybe connect?
Oh gosh, this part I don't know. Like
Okay.
what?
That's all right. We might have to fix it up.
Yeah.
All right.
This part I don't know. I'm just me.
All right.
I don't.
Look me up on the
You.
on the telly. Look, look
I'll
up
be at the
phone
National
book.
Center. You can, find me on. I have way too common of a name to find me on Facebook. So yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
very hard.
All
But
right.
there's a million Jessica Miles out there.
Well, we're so
I
glad to
know.
have you. And I remember my first week. You have a very warm presence.
Okay.
Meaning it like a whole, like I don't know. And I really appreciate that about you. You know, people are automatron,
Uh-huh.
a robot, and you're not that. And I really appreciate having you on the show today. And I'll play the drums a few more times to make our producer happy. And thanks, shout out to our producing team and the team behind the scenes at NCFIE. We celebrate you. We love you. And Tracy, let's do some more Wraparound the World, huh?
Absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.